Hello guys, this is Feverz91 and I'm just bringing a little topic here. It's about Sony and Nintendo on a movie deal. That's right. Let me read you the title of this article I found on VG Charts. Report, Sony close to a deal with Nintendo to make Mario movie. I'm going to just read because it's a very short article. I'm just going to basically read the whole thing. It's by William D'Angelo. Alright. Sony and Nintendo are working on a deal for Sony Pictures to make an animated feature-length film for the Super Mario Bros. Franchise. This is according to a report on BuzzFeed, who discovered emails between the two companies. Producer Avi Arad emailed Sony Pictures Studio chief Amy Pasca that he would be handling the movie. Quote, "I am the proud father of Mario the animated film," end quote, Arad said in an email. There were attached pictures of him with Nintendo president Satoru Iwata and Mario creator Shigeru Miyamoto. However, Arad said the deal is not finished yet and he is still looking for a director for the movie. Alright, first things first. Wow. Nintendo and Sony deal? Those, I'm not sure if those words can legally be used in the same sentence. I'm just kidding about that, but you get my point, because if you guys remember, for those of you who are old enough to remember, or those of you who didn't, because I don't remember it, but I remember hearing about it, basically how Nintendo and Sony, when they were supposed to, they had a deal before, and Sony was supposed to make like a disc-based system for Nintendo, and then, you know, it fell out. Nintendo, I think, sold some of that stuff to Philips, which was, I think, Sony's main competitor at the time, and, you know, it kind of just, I think, brought bitterness between the two companies. So for them to make this deal now, given the history, okay, let's just, whoa. And I'm pretty sure Shigeru Miyamoto was around Nintendo during that time. So at least with the history and that he would probably be a part of, I'm not sure if he was directly a part of it, involved in it, but he was probably still there. It was, I mean, it's just amazing. And what does this mean for the gaming community? I'll tell you what it means. If Sony, let's just think right now, Sony is looking, and I think Sony sees money as a company as a whole. I think it sees money in a Mario movie, which is probably there. And Nintendo is probably thinking, I mean, now if you guys remember, if any of you guys remember the horrid thing that was called the Super Mario Brothers, I believe it was called the Super Mario Bros. That movie was awful, because what did they do? They took the Super Mario Brothers and they basically just took the names and that they were plumbers. It's basically all they got right, because they had Princess Daisy, not Peach, or Princess Toadstool, I guess she was also known as. I think they had Princess Daisy, so it was like a thing for Luigi and not Mario. They kind of messed it up. They kind of went completely off the ballpark, saying how the Mushroom Kingdom, basically, if it was, I'm not even sure if it was called that, but they were like, all this stuff about evolution, which I'm like, what is this? It's like de-evolution beams and evolution beams and crap like that. I mean, I don't even believe in evolution, but anyway, I digress. That movie was just awful, I believe. I mean, it may have had a couple high points, but in reality, no, just a huge no. So, for Sony Pictures, who knows how to make movies, and I believe it would know how to make a movie like this, and it's animated film, so probably 3D. It's not bad. I mean, I could see Nintendo allowing them to do this because Sony probably knows how to make this movie a good movie. That would bring more public to Nintendo, and it would definitely bring Sony probably some more money. And what I'm saying is that, what this means for the future, though, Sony and Nintendo together. Let's just have a little fantasy moment right here. Imagine if Nintendo asked Sony for something in return for this deal. Not just like part of the gross or net or whatever, not money. Imagine if Nintendo be like, alright Sony, we'll let you use Mario in the movie, we'll let you direct, we'll let you do this Mario movie, but how about you give us something in return? What is it? We want you to improve our online network for our Wii U. And I mean, the online network for the Wii U, I'm pretty sure it's pretty good right now, but imagine if it was up to, and not just how you play the games or how they connect to one another. Imagine how the whole interface, if the interface was like changed to much better fitting the gamer. Just imagine that. And if Sony helped them change that. Or maybe let's go to another way. Nintendo asked Sony, can you help us with our relationships with our third parties? Imagine Sony patches up relationships with Nintendo's third parties. All of a sudden, third parties start coming on the Wii U. Plenty third parties. I mean, I'm just saying. Imagine that. And imagine what that would mean for Xbox. And imagine, if you may allow me to imagine one more time, imagine if Nintendo and Sony close a deal that games that they have the same of, or basically third-party games, would be, bear with me now, cross-platform play. Imagine that. Imagine the next Call of Duty coming out for both Wii U and the PS4, and obviously the Xbox One. But imagine cross-platform play across Nintendo's consoles and Nintendo's console and Sony's console. Just picture that in your head for a second. That would be bad for Microsoft. If this deal led to anything else, I think it would, even though they're not aiming it against Microsoft, I believe, I think that would be bad for Microsoft. Just imagine that, though. Imagine 15-year-old Johnny at the GameStop, and he's like, all right, I have enough money for one console. Now, am I going to get the PS4, the Xbox One, or the Nintendo Wii U? Let's see. I have some friends that have some PS4s. I got some friends that got some Wii U's. I got some friends that got some Xbox Ones. So who do I really want to play with? Oh, wait! PS4 and Nintendo Wii U both have cross-platform play for their systems, which means that I can play with no matter which one of those I get, I can play with people on both systems. Well, that really narrows it down. I'm just saying, if PS4 and Wii U worked on a deal, or Sony and Nintendo, probably the companies are working on the deal, not the consoles themselves, they worked on a deal to have cross-platform play. Imagine what that would do for sales, because all of a sudden people may not want to get the Xbox One as much. Why? Because these companies are making cross-platform play. They don't have to, I mean, they can play with their friends who don't even own their same consoles. Imagine, because I'm sure plenty of people have friends who are like, they have a maybe Wii U and the friends have a PS4 and they don't have a PS4, and imagine being able to play with them on the console, even though you don't have the same console they do. Now, let's just take all this imaginating out of the way. Let's just say that this is the only deal that goes to Nintendo and Sony, right? Let's say it closes, they make the Mario movie, and they part when they go their separate ways afterwards, right? Things will still change, in my opinion. You know why I believe that things will still change? Because it would show that Nintendo and Sony are willing to actually make a deal. Think about that for a second. These companies, given their history, are really actually to make a peaceful, calm deal. I'm not sure whether it's peaceful or calm, but to make a deal to make this movie. And it would still, I believe, impact the future. Because I believe that Sony would probably come for a next deal later for something else. I mean, I think that if this deal went through, could you imagine Sony like 2 or 3 years from now coming to make a deal about a Legend of Zelda movie? Or a Samus movie? Or, well, I guess a Samus movie would be called Metroid, but something like that. Could you imagine that? If this goes through, all of a sudden Sony and Nintendo would have this like deal business going on, and Microsoft would kind of be just left out there. Now, I'm not saying this would happen. I don't even think that that's most likely to happen, and I'm definitely jumping ahead of myself here. This deal hasn't even closed. There's still a chance that Nintendo and Sony can just have another fallout, and maybe not even this. Maybe this never happens. We don't know. We'll see. But I'm just saying, if this goes through, I see this changing a lot in the future for both Sony and Nintendo. Anyway, those are my thoughts on the matter. You guys tell me yours. I'll probably have the article linked below so you guys can check it out yourself. It's a very short article. I encourage you to go to it. It's like a very dead quick read. So, alright, thanks for watching the video. Like, comment, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And God bless you all.